Thank you for tuning in to Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Greeno, and this is my buddy, Dan G.
How's it going?
Hey, Dan.
How you been?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. Thanks for coming by today.
Oh, no, not a problem.
Yeah. What did you bring today?
So I went into the vintage box, and we had talked about the 1951 Topps Redbacks before.
Yeah.
When I had brought the sealed pack.
Yeah.
But, silly me, didn't ever bring an example of an opened one. So I brought two today, 1951 Topps Redbacks. The first one here is Bob Feller.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a really cool card. I was looking at it and I was like, it's just beautiful in general. And when you look at them, they're cool. I love the small size. You know me, I kind of like minis.
That's what they are.
And that's what they are, right? And I'll turn the back so you can see the red back part of it.
Now, did you
for just a moment
buy this on a trade, or how'd you acquire it?
I've had these for at least 15 years.
Really?
And I don't know how I acquired them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost certain it was through Derek's dugout, which was the card shop during the time that we used to frequent before he closed doors. And I'm fairly certain that it was somehow in that store setting. Whether I bought them or traded for them, I'm not sure.
Like how you specifically acquired them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other one here is Warren Spahn. So I thought I would put him up there. The condition on them is not great. They could be better, but they're not horrible either. So
they're 51s.
Yeah, correct.
So we're looking at, they're very, very old.
Correct.
So it's expected for them to be in some battered condition at this point.
Right.
They came with rounded edges.
Right.
So at least you got that, right?
And I know that these are the more common versions, right?
The red backs.
Yeah, the blue backs are a little bit harder to find.
Right.
I would like to eventually acquire some blue backs.
Sure.
Right now, it's not high on the list of priorities, but if they come along at a good price, you never know.
Yeah, it's 51 Topps red and blue backs. These are sets that I became aware of well after I had learned that 52 was the first flagship product.
Right.
And then someone mentioned it, like 51 Topps blue and red backs. And I was like, what are you talking about? Topps started in 52.
Yeah.
And then I started researching. I was like, yeah, I guess they produced this kind of obscure set in 51.
Right.
And then the 52 set kind of became that real iconic.
Right.
And
it's kind
huge.
It's kind of interesting. They went from small
to gigantic.
To big.
Yeah. These are really cool. I don't have any presently, but I really like them. And I've looked at them in the past, and I've considered buying something, a Spawn, or a Feller like you have here, or another Hall of Famer.
Right.
They've got a lot of Hall of Famers.
Yeah, it's stacked.
And I like the design. It's been used in some commemorative releases over the years, modern stuff. I always prefer the original pieces. I always like the designs in their original state.
I agree, and I think part of what is attractive to me on these is it's a small set. I think it's 52 cards.
It's a small set,
and there's a lot of Hall of Famers in there, right? And on top of that, they're affordable,
right?
I think in these conditions, you could probably pick up either or of them from between $15 to $30. And these are fabulous players from time.
Now, have you looked at graded examples and like sale performance? And
so
things like that?
I've peeked at them. I haven't really spent a lot of time, comparing, but I imagine, like anything, the higher grade, exponentially the price increases, or the price increases exponentially. I don't really know for sure.
I'd love to see like a 10. See how pristine it looks.
Right.
The white border and everything else almost looks like a modern playing card.
Right.
I think it'd be interesting to see that in person, something like that in person.
Right.
But there's a lot of merit and story behind the battered vintage, and I always like that. And so these are examples that I think would fall into that story line that there's a lot of history around why they're in such bad shape.
Right.
And I really appreciate that. I like that. It's desirable, and it kind of makes you think about where it's been, and you know who's handled it by how many people, at what age, and, you know what states, what cities, what parts of town. You start to think about the history and the background lifespan of the card itself. Something cool about these two is that up in the corner there's like, you know, they're like playing cards in a way, because you've got like, this one says strike, and then you've got this guy which says ball.
Here, I'll put this one up.
Yeah, and so, that's a really young photo of Warren Spahn, man. And, you know, I just think it's a really cool design with the colors on there. It makes you it does feel like, you know, that one looks like a header card and a playing card.
Right.
Like a queen, a jack, a king, something like that. And I've always appreciated that from that set. Good stuff, and you know, I would say underrated in some degree.
I think so. It's kind of like the 51 Bowman.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's underrated. It's
super underrated.
You know, the shadow of the little brother.
Right.
52 tops.
But the 51 Bowman has all the key rookie cards.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, when you go into 50, you talk about vintage, you talk about rookie cards, and it seems like nobody cares about the 51 Bowman set. And like, oh, I got the Mays and the Mantle rookies from 52 tops. I'm like, sorry, dude, those aren't. I hate to burst your bubble, but those aren't rookie cards. There are various reasons why those are not rookie cards. Great cards, but the 51 Bowman set certainly has a lot of backbone to it.
Right, and then this 51 tops red back. You know,
nobody cares.
No one cares. They're cheap.
They're great.
Yeah.
I've interviewed somebody that has put together one of the sets.
Cool.
He's got them in a binder. It's really cool stuff. So. Yeah, these are great, man. I'm glad you brought these by. This is a set that just doesn't get talked about nearly enough.
Agreed.
So, good stuff, man.
Cool.
So he brought 2 cards from a set from 51. I'm going to talk about 2 cards from a set from 2011.
Okay.
We're going to
big jump
fast forward it. So what is that, like 60 years?
It's close.
60 solid years. 2011 Bowman. I picked these both up on the same day, and I got them in the mail on the same day.
Cool.
And I was like, well, if I'm gonna get this one, I may as well get the other one too. Now, in 2011, I was living in Fullerton, and I was kind of following. Well, this is when I was blogging more, and I was running the Radicards forum at the time, and getting that all set up. And then I moved up to Westwood by UCLA, and I hadn't really watched television from like 2009 to like 2012. I watched no TV, like just that. I don't really. When I was living out in California, I didn't have the luxury of like getting a television. I was too stressed and like trying to survive.
Right.
It's not easy to do that out there. So you push all the like luxury items and you just shuffle them under the rug. You're like, this doesn't matter right now, and so. It wasn't until 2012 when I moved into an apartment. It was a 3-bedroom with 2 other gentlemen that were my age. The greatest roommates I've ever had. And we were watching, they had a big screen TV, and we watched Dodger games sometimes. And we saw the up-and-coming D. Gordon, which is Tom Gordon's son. And he's skinny, lanky. Tom Gordon played for the Royals in '89. He was a pitcher. He was, a good rookie at the time.
Right.
And then D. Gordon comes up, and his name is actually, I think, Devarius Strange Gordon. I think that's his full, long name. And I used to have a 2008 Bowman Chrome Blue Refractor numbered 99, and I just didn't do anything for me, so I sold it. But I wanted something of 25 or less for my current project. And these 2 cards popped, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if I can grab these. And it seems weird because people don't seem to collect him as much as they did. Right. It's almost like when he got suspended 80 games for being caught for PEDs.
Yeah. It was right after he was here in Albuquerque.
Was it? Yeah. So the collectability dropped off.
Right.
But I wanted, 1 or 2 really nice pieces for my current project, and these fit the bill. And they came up at around the same time, one before the other, but one was a bin, the other was an auction. And we'll start first with the. This is the 2011 Bowman Chrome Prospects Orange Refractor, number 25. It's graded. I didn't really care, but I just was like, I'll put a bid on it. $9.99, and I was the only bidder.
Nice.
I was like, you may as well just grab it,
Right.
And it costs more to slab the card.
Right.
So I got this card for very cheap, and I was happy to get it. And I was like, well, if I'm going to grab that, then I'm going to skip this other one. I really like this design of 2011 Bowman Prospects. I think it's interesting, and it looks like the like rounded off interior frame of it is very basic looking. I like that. I wasn't really interested in getting something autographed. You know, I've talked about this before. If I have a choice between a non-autographed parallel and an autographed parallel, I'm going to go non-autographed every time. And there are a couple of reasons for that. I buy cards for cards, not the autographs. And two, it's always cheaper to get the card without the autograph, and I like that. I like that. So this one appealed to me. It fits in that, you know, my parameters of collecting, how I'm collecting, and so grabbed this. This is the 2011 Bowman Chrome Prospects Orange Refractor number /25 D. Gordon Rookie Year card. He has stuff as, you know, in other previous years you can get, and so this is part of the rookie era stuff, but this is rookie year. And then,
can I take a look at it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then that day I was like, well, I'll just get the other one. This is the Bowman Prospects Red Border 1 of 1.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, this was a bin, and it wasn't that big of a deal. And I was like, oh, I figured if I'm going to get the Orange Refractor, may as well just get this one too and just call it good. And of course, you know, if I see others that fall into they meet the parameters, the requirements, then I might entertain. But these two fill it out. Now, I really like the red border paper stuff. Again, not autographed. I like that. Affordable. You know, probably with the current market, you might argue that I overpaid for even this because just people aren't buying his stuff. But, you know, this really works and fits into my collection. So this is the 2011 Bowman Prospects Red Border 1 of 1. And, you know, this is when a lot of the proof stuff has been released. I haven't even, like, prepped these for my collection, which is why they're still in how I got them in the mail with the painter's tape on it, which I like.
Yeah.
This one actually has the stamp, the 1 of 1 stamp, so it's the official pack issued example. Really cool stuff. I like this. I remember watching him on TV with my roommates and being pretty impressed with his ability at shortstop. And so I actually hope he continues to have a pretty productive career. He's injured right now. At least that's my understanding.
Haven't been following him.
Yeah, well, you know, I try to pick up on highlights. I don't have time to watch baseball, but whatever the case, I like these cards. I think they're great additions to my collection, and you know, I like I said, I wouldn't really consider myself a D. Gordon collector. I just happen to want 1 or 2 nice pieces of him and be done with it. And these fit really well. So we've got the red bordered paper 1 of 1 and the orange chrome refractor /25, and I think those are great additions. So Dan, thoughts, comments?
I'm good.
All right.
Nothing to say.
Nothing to say. Good stuff. So, all right. Thank you, Dan, for coming over and talking 51 Topps with me.
Sure. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course, and I'm glad that we had a conversation about 2011 Bowman products 60 years later.
Sounds good.
So,
coincidence.
Awesome totally. Really cool. Thank you for tuning in to Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Reno. Thank you, Dan, for coming over.
Thank you.
And until next time, enjoy collecting.
Take care.
If you like this content, please subscribe. Thank you. Enjoy collecting.